Welcome to the Resilient Butterfly Podcast. My goal is to share inspiring stories of healing and recovery through many diverse approaches and models. Our guests bring incredible lived experiences, insights, and/or professional expertise, each with their own unique path. While we highlight and celebrate these stories, our intention is to inform, inspire, and demonstrate resilience and creativity. This podcast does not endorse any one approach. We believe there is more than one way to heal, and we're here to showcase the resilience and possibilities that exist. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Resilient Butterfly. I'm so happy today to have a guest, Dr. Kimberly Dunn, who is sitting next to me. We're both in South Florida together, which is really great instead of doing Zoom. Dr. Dunn joined Florida Atlantic University in 2001 and is currently associate professor in the School of Accounting. She also is the executive director of Champions Empowering Champions and served as the faculty advisor to Beta Alpha Psi. And she has numerous other awards and distinguishments that I'm going to have her talk about. But Kimberly, I'm going to call you Kim.
Please do.
She is the first in her family that has attended college and earned degrees. And she's gone from a bachelor's degree in business administration, the University of Alabama, a master of accountancy degree from the University of Alabama, and Ph.D. at Georgia State University. She's married to Ray, her high school sweetheart, and they are proud parents of two sons, Brandon and Caleb, who both originally came through the foster care system and were adopted. And Kim also has a history or story of her own foster care. So thank you. I am so excited to have you here, talk about numerous things, including why you started Champions Empowering Champions, and from the very beginning, what prompted you to excel so much in your education.
Well, thanks, Pam. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk with you about my journey and where we are today with Champions Empowering Champions. As you mentioned, I'm the first in my family to go to college. My parents were married at a very young age. My dad was a farmer. My mom was a farmer's wife. And I was raised in a conservative Christian home, and my parents had some challenges, and I actually went into foster care for a short period of time. And I'll never forget how that felt, to be dropped off with a family, not having anything of my own, being taken to a clothing closet. And I was always a chubby little girl, so it was hard to find clothes that I could wear from the clothes that they had available. So I always remembered that feeling. And then my parents, things stabilized with them, and I went back to my family. And we moved from Alabama to St. Petersburg, Florida when I was 13. And that was a drastic change for me, coming from small town country farm in Alabama to what seemed like the biggest metropolis in the whole world at the time.
At the time, right?
At the time, yes. And I struggled to find my way, going from 8th grade to high school, and struggled to find my way. I met my husband my senior year in high school, and looking back, it was like crazy that we thought when I was 19 years old and he was 21 that we should get married, but we did. And so Ray and I got married, and I'll never forget, my mom said, just please live together. You're going to get divorced. You guys are just too different. You fight. You're going to get divorced. And then my aunt, who was very pro-education, she said, and you'll never graduate from college.
Oh, wow.
So here we are 40 years later, and we're still happily married, and I have a Ph.D. So just that journey, having a supportive husband, and my parents, even though they didn't go to college, my dad always said an education is something that no one can ever take away from you. That is something that will be yours forever.
Mhm.
And both my parents taught me to be independent and to never have to rely on anyone. So that's how things started with me. And
Were your parents still alive when you finished your PhD? Are they still alive now?
both my parents attended my graduation for my
Oh.
PhD. My dad did pass soon thereafter, but my mom is still alive, and I'm very fortunate because I get to go and spend time with her
Mhm.
over the holiday break and then over the summer break. She lives in Alabama now, and as do my brothers and many of my extended family. So I'm very fortunate to be able to spend time with her when I don't have obligations on campus.
Sure. What is it like to be a professor at FAU and be able to be involved in some of the advocacy and starting Champions Empowering Champions? Explain what Champions Empowering Champions is.
Okay, so my professor job is what I do for FAU. Champions Empowering Champions is my labor of love. That while we partner with FAU, we are a separate 501c3, and we exclusively support students at Florida Atlantic who have come through foster care or homelessness. And but it's independent of my assignment at FAU. I'm an accounting professor. So when I started talking about wanting to build this nonprofit and and initially I wanted to build it within FAU, but it just didn't make sense for an accounting professor to be doing this type of work. So I pulled together a group of amazing people. We went through at the time it was called the Tech Runway Launch Competition, and we were selected as a nonprofit to receive mentoring and startup funding for our organization. And that was an FAU event. So that strengthened our partnership with FAU. And as we built out the programming, we were very careful to identify unmet need. There's unmet need in a lot of places
Sure.
with children who go into foster care, but we were very careful to identify our strengths. What could we do? What could we excel at? And what was the unmet need? And as we started to identify the unmet need, we identified students who had been accepted to college. So we're not trying to reach back to high school or younger students. We're very clear in our mission. Once a student who is admitted to Florida Atlantic University who has come through foster care or homelessness or similarly situated, but those are our two main groups, we invite them to join Champions Empowering Champions.
Do they have, when they're admitted to FAU, is there a specific, and part of the enrollment is to identify them as coming from foster care or homelessness?
Yes, we're very fortunate in the state of Florida to have tuition waivers for all students who have been in the state foster care system and all students who are considered homeless. I'm not an expert on the law, so I don't want to get into exactly what that means, but the students who are identified by the university to receive tuition waivers for those two conditions, we ask the university to invite them to contact Champions and then apply to be part of our organization.
Wow. That's incredible. I didn't realize that the state of Florida is paying for that. So do you know the number of students that meet that criteria in any given year at FAU?
When we were doing our research to start the organization, at that time, there were 150 students at Florida Atlantic who were receiving tuition waivers or for foster care or homelessness. So I haven't done research on that lately, but that had been a fairly stable number leading up to the year we launched the program. And some of those students may have been adopted very early into stable homes and not need additional support.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the total number receiving tuition waivers.
Got it. So as far as once they're at FAU, what services can they expect to receive if they sign up for Champions Empowering Champions?
Okay, the university itself does a great job with certain things. They have book programs, housing programs. They have certain things that they're able to do for their students through the generosity of donors. And so pieces of that are handled by the university. What we do in Champions Empowering Champions is to bring them together once a month. And the thing that our students consistently say is the most valuable thing for them, the thing that motivates them, that makes them feel like they belong, that gets rid of the imposter syndrome, is for that once a month meeting where they see people like themselves being successful in university.
Mm-hmm.
And we come together once a month. We break into groups. Our groups are called squads. So it's called Squad Night.
Mm-hmm.
And Squad Night, the groups get together, they share a meal, and we give them a table topic. And we just had our first Squad Night of this semester in September. We've got another one coming up in October. But the Squad Night in September was, what are your goals for the semester? That was the table topic. What are your goals? What do you think your challenges might be? And how will you overcome those challenges? So as they sit and share a meal, talk to each other, and they'll venture off their assigned topic. But the important thing is that they're connecting with their peers. We also have volunteers, and our volunteers sit with their squad, and we try to keep the squads intact from the student's first day till their last day. Sometimes we have to adjust a little bit, but mostly they're very, very stable. So they have the same students around them and the same volunteers around them from start to finish, except for maybe we add one or two each year and maybe one or two graduates. Maybe one volunteer rotates out and another one rotates in, but there's some stability. We were very intentional in how we organize the squads, because the last thing that I want to do is disappoint these students again. Mm-hmm. They've been disappointed so many times in their lives. And I wanted an infrastructure that was stable and sustainable. And by not doing one-on-one mentoring, we were able to have that sustainable, stable structure. Mm-hmm. So we have this group of volunteers and students sitting together, talking, sharing a meal. After the meal, we have a learning session. And the learning session can range from virtually anything. We have had Barb Schmidt and her daughter Michelle come in and talk about mindfulness and meditation. We've had budgeting workshops, resume writing, Toastmasters. There's a student Toastmasters chapter on campus. Toastmasters comes in and talks about the importance of communication skills.
How many people are on these? I mean, total that would be at any given time generally?
We started off with 20 our first year, which was 2019. Mm-hmm. And then it seems like forever ago, but 2020, COVID hit. And we went virtual, and we, our participation did drop a bit, but we've rebounded, and we average about 35 students in each academic year that is active with us.
Why I ask is because there is a particular mechanism that I would love to share with them at some point when you say people come in to do something. And it's affiliated with Mind Movies. It's creating your movie of your life that you want to achieve, like visioning forward. It's like a vision board, only it's a movie of yourself going forward in your life. And I was just thinking that would be pretty powerful for them to create that and then for them to watch it. You watch it on a daily basis or however much you want to or choose to. And it changes your brain to be able to actually see yourself in the things that you want to achieve. It could be your education, it could be your job, it could be a vacation, it could be materialistic, it could be spiritual, it could be whatever, or the kind of person that you want to show up to be in life. And I'll talk to you about it. It's some more, but it's, to share them, and they can actually, I could share that movie mechanism with them for them to create their movie.
I think our students would love that.
It would be, it's fun.
I think they would love it, and I think it would be so beneficial to them because they struggle to have the opportunity to do that, to have had someone to really believe in them in many cases, not all, of course, but in many cases, someone to believe in them and help them build that movie. And to have someone come in and teach them how to do that, that would be incredible.
It's just changing the way you think about life. Instead of, I want this, it's I already have it. And believing that as you watch it happening in a movie. And so many times our brain is, looking at the negative versus this is a way to look at the positive and moving, into your future and what you want to achieve. And then to measure who's using it, who's not, and potentially who's able to be successful in their, not measuring, but, maybe 6 months later, what have you done? What have you seen change in your life as a result of creating this for yourself? Because it could be as little as I have achieved a 90% on, my whatever class they're taking that is so challenging, envisioning that they have that a bit, already done. It's done. It's not I want to, it's I have. So it's definitely a mindset and something for them to switch their mind and brain into. And then you can actually individually, I can use some brainwave entrainment, which actually hypnotizes the brain at a faster pace to be able to believe this is happening.
That sounds amazing. I can't wait for you to come.
So we have a lot to share for sure. And you do yoga. So is there someone that comes in and does some mindfulness? You said mindfulness. Any person that comes in and shows them how to do yoga? And
we haven't had yoga yet. I mentioned that I became a certified yoga instructor this
you
summer.
Did?
Yes, I did.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
You did that in Alabama? Or
I actually started here. I practice at Atha Yoga Shala, just right here in Delray. And one of my teachers, she did an online training for 6 weeks. And then we had 1 week of intensive training in Mexico.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And so I went through that. I really did it for myself just to deepen my practice. But I was fortunate to have the opportunity to teach 2 yoga classes when I was in Alabama. And I mentioned that to our students at our squad night in September, and they asked me to do one for them. And so we're finding the date. It looks like that January will be yoga night.
Oh, that's nice.
So we'll start the year off with
that practice. Obviously, it could change, some of their own anxiety and thinking as well.
Yeah, and FAU has yoga classes in the rec center, and all of our students have free access to the rec center. So maybe if we get them thinking about yoga in a different way, they will take advantage of that resource.
Sure. So you have several different organizations that give to Champions Empowering Champions, and including, I know, Polo Club of Boca Raton has given money for. Can you explain?
Yes, I would be happy to. I would like to take a little step back because the funds that the Polo Club Foundation contributed is allowing us to expand our support and programming. And you asked me what we did for our students. And so what we've been doing over the past 5 years, we talked about, the dinner, the learning opportunity to help them be successful academically, professionally in life. And then the third thing that we do for them is to provide them with, we call it a care package. And every month that they come and participate, so they have to be there. They can't just sign up to join and then not show up. But if they participate, they're given a budget. And they go on Amazon and they create their wish list, but their wish list can only include necessities. So things that they need academically or to live, hygiene products, cleaning products, attire, food. So those are the things that they can go on Amazon. They send us their Amazon wish list. We process that. And so each month they get about $100 each month to help their financial budget. And we also do a graduation celebration where we purchase their caps and gowns, and we give them a champion's cord and stole and a diploma frame. So that's another financial piece that we've been very fortunate to have donors to support us over the past few years. But what we're really excited about is launching the new program in partnership with the Polo Club. And research has shown that transitions are the hardest part for students, especially students in the demographic that we serve. And they do really well once they get settled, relatively speaking. So they're settled, they're making progress through school, and now it's time to graduate. And if they're living on campus, they no longer can live on campus. They've got to move off campus to get a job. Any financial support that they have coming in by virtue of being a student, that goes away. And so we've always known that, but never had the resources that were sufficient enough to help them with that next step. And so through the generosity of the Polo Club, we have built out we're calling it Empowering Professionals, and they will have their own mentor for up to 1 year prior to leaving their academic career and transitioning into the professional life. And the mentor will work with the student to develop a post-graduation plan. That will be, where are you going to live? Where are you going to work? What's your transportation going to look like? And develop out a budget so that they are comfortable. They know that they're going to be able to sustain their life after college. And the Polo Club is supporting that transition, or the startup package. So if you've had a child recently move out on their own, you can only imagine how expensive it is to get started up. So the Polo Club has provided us with funding to support the students in their startup package. It can be things like utility deposits, rent deposits, first and last month rent, or essentials for the home, like bedding and kitchenware,
so
and
it
things
wouldn't
like
be
that.
Furniture. It wouldn't be big items. It would be more of the smaller
Things. Maybe someday we would have greater financial support and we could grow it into something that could be bigger. But that's what we have now. And if students, our students are very resourceful, and maybe they can go to a thrift store and find a couch that's within the budget that we would be able to give them.
Sure. Well, there definitely is a whole lot to that transition. It's overwhelming for anyone, particularly now that things have changed, as opposed to when we were leaving college. It was a whole different situation. And in South Florida, it's really difficult to get apartments that are reasonable, and let alone all the essentials and transportation, because there isn't a bus transportation necessarily that's so convenient to get to and from. It's not like the subway system in New York, right?
Right.
So that any other, you've been involved in a lot of different, any other specific area that you feel you want to touch on in regard to what you have accomplished? Because I feel like your education is enough as it is, let alone everything else that you're accomplishing. How do you find the time in the day to do all of this? And what, I know the inspiration came from your own experience, and what else drove you to create this?
When my sons were transitioning from high school and figuring out what was next, uh, they each wanted to try college. And I helped set them up with, okay, these are the things that you need to do to go on that path. And they would go over and try to accomplish what I had laid out for them and come back and hadn't quite gotten it accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to go back and say this, this, and this. This is what you need to do. And for students who are, because my sons were in foster care, they were eligible for the tuition waiver. And not everyone at a university knows how to process that tuition waiver. So you need to go over and you need to talk to this person and you need to do this, this, and this. And they would come home and it still wasn't done. So I went over with them one day and I walked them to where they needed to go. And I stood with them until it was done. And on the way back to the car, my older son said to me, Mom, what do kids without anyone do?
Mm-hmm.
What do kids without anyone do? And that really hit hard. And I started thinking about how can I help more kids without anyone?
Wow.
And that was a real motivation for me. And I went to a yoga retreat in Mexico, and the theme of the retreat was Dare to Dream. And I wrote a dream statement as part of that retreat. And that dream statement was the beginning of Champions. So it was a lot of things in my life.
So you did the visioning already. That was where you didn't do it in a movie, but you did it at a retreat and then created that for you to look forward to.
Yeah. When I left Mexico, I was like, what happened in Mexico stays in Mexico. I never thought it would become a reality, but
I'm going to Mexico in April at a yoga retreat. I wonder if it's the same location.
yeah,
Tulula, maybe? I forget what exactly where it is, but
I kind of live in the moment and I don't remember the details. Like I have it in my files where I went, but not in my head. Throughout my career, I've never had a real master plan that I wanted to do this in 5 years or 10 years. I just try to do a good job with what I'm doing. And when doors open up, if they seem to make sense, be ready to walk through them.
yeah.
And I'm very fortunate to have had an amazing career with Florida Atlantic. And professionally, I've had the opportunity to be the president of our faculty senate, which resulted in me sitting on the board of trustees for 4 years. And I was elected by my statewide colleagues to sit on the board of governors for the state university system of Florida.
Oh, wow.
So
That's an accomplishment.
it's an interesting place to be right now. So much is going on in higher education, and I represent the faculty voice on the board of governors. Sometimes I have a fiduciary obligation to vote based on what I think is in the best interest of the state university system, and sometimes that may not align well with what faculty think is in the best interest. So it's a challenging place to be right now, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the opportunity to meet people, to learn new things. And I think that really sums up my life, is just anytime there's an opportunity to learn new things, build new things, and kind of make the world a better place.
Sure. Well, that's where I like to talk about resilient butterfly, because you are a resilient butterfly, and being able to transform into your life and bring up other children or young adults to transform their life and for their life to be a better place for themselves And thank you so much for what you do. I appreciate it. And so many others do, I'm sure. Is there anything that you can say in regard to if anyone wants to donate to or help with Champions Empowering Champions? How would they get in touch with you?
We have a website, empoweringchampions.org, and you can find all of our contact information there. You can find the phone number listed is actually my personal cell phone, so please feel free to call or text or leave me a message. And I'd love to talk with anyone who has interest in getting involved or supporting us financially. It's a great cause. One thing I didn't say is that we have an intern, and other than that, it's entirely volunteer labor. So well over 90% of our donations go directly to supporting our students.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming in today and talking about this.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I
look forward to doing yoga with you.
And I look forward to making movies with you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining the conversation today. If you are seeking help for yourself or a loved one, please reach out to our Feinberg Consulting team at 248-538-5425. That's 248-538-5425. And check out our website at feinbergcare.com. I'm grateful for our guests and all who have joined us today. Make sure you follow us on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to podcasts.